Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is the Political Eye Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, after the Court of Appeal allowed the appeal of the Rigathi Gachagua ruling that the DCJ Philomena Mwilu overstepped her constitutional duties, forming that three bench judges that listened to the petition of Rigathi Gachagua, which also paved the way for the swearing in of Kithure Kindiki to assume the office of the Deputy President of Kenya. Opposition leaders led by Kalonzo Musyoka, together with some politicians aligned to the opposition, have now come out demanding for the resignation of Deputy President Kithure Kindiki from that office, terming it as a constitutional crisis in the Republic of Kenya. So
we clearly have a constitutional crisis. As we speak, we do not have a deputy president. Yes. We have two deputy presidents, okay? And I respect Kithure Kindiki. He's from my part of the country. He should do the honorable thing and resign so that he can now allow due process to take place. The ruling by the Court of Appeal has clearly demonstrated the illegality, the political manipulation that happened to try and get Rigathi Gachagua being dismissed as a deputy president.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if I can remember very well, I followed that proceedings, that impeachment process of Rigathi Gachagua, and the one of the factor that I saw there was the aspect of time. Time was a factor because the entire process was rushed, and if I can remember very well, the moment Rigathi Gachagua was leaving that office, the moment he was getting impeached, Kithure Kindiki was already at the door, ready to occupy that office. And if you can see, there was a lot in it. And this is what I want us to look at in this particular video. So before we go further, please, if you are here for the first time, consider subscribing. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And to the returning subscribers, I want to thank you guys for your support, because without you, this cannot happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Orengo said after some days after Rigathi Gachagua was impeached.
And I've practiced law for a long time. The judges in the Supreme Court, a lot of them are my juniors. They are my juniors in law. The judgment that they rendered, and I want to say this without fear or contradiction, was not a judicial judgment. The literature contained in that judgment was not judicial literature. That was a political track. It was meant to serve a purpose which has nothing to do with the law. The person who wrote that judgment has done a great injustice.
It was clear that the entire event was politically driven, and the events followed each other in a chronological manner, which you can see the whole thing was being planned to achieve certain objective until Rigathi Gachagua was kicked out of that office. Since this petition was validated by illegally constituted bench, which is now in question, this states that Rigathi Gachagua legal position is still temporarily reinstated, in as much we don't know the outcome, how it is going to be. So the big question is, what or how does this ruling by the Court of Appeal going to impact the life of Rigathi Gachagua, his political life, and or how is it going to impact the people of Kenya with the judiciary plus our courts? I want first to focus on the aspect of Rigathi Gachagua, which I see this ruling can help Gachagua, may help Gachagua reinstate his political legitimacy, and this is something that is very, very important politically speaking, because people, like, the entire thing is going to work on his favor. People are actually going to see that Rigathi Gachagua didn't deserve the kind of judgment that he received. And people, this is going to even win the hearts of many people. Remember, I've been talking the aspect of sympathy votes in this channel. Sympathy votes, and people are actually going to see that Rigathi Gachagua is the man who is people like everything is against him, the government is against him, so they can decide to rally behind Rigathi Gachagua just to show him support, that sympathy or mercy. Remember, that aspect of sympathy votes have worked to many politicians, including our current president. So I don't know how things are actually working, because if the government was in full control, maybe they could have not released this statement. The Court of Appeal could have not released this statement, but because the independence is there, maybe that's the reason why they had the right to release this statement, knowing very well it is going to benefit Rigathi Gachagua more than any other person, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the part of Gachagua, how this ruling is going to impact his political career. It doesn't mean that he's now going to be fit to vie for any political seat, because things the proceedings are not yet done. Things may work not on his favor later on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see this is one of the aspects that Rigathi Gachagua is still winning in this war, because this was started when impeachment process started. So I want to take the second aspect, which I want to try to look at the judiciary or our courts. I see an aspect where the people of Kenya now will start feeling like their courts are now not giving that justice to the people that deserve that justice, because Rigathi Gachagua deserves that justice in the court of law. Everyone deserves the justice in the court of our courts, and one of the key figures like Rigathi Gachagua was never served that justice. So people might actually start losing trust and faith in our courts. That is something that is going to paint the bad picture to our courts, because even the government, the national government and the courts have been having those struggles here and there. Remember the issue with Koome, there have been issues there and there, the Lenaola, and there's been issues. So I don't know how, maybe this is something that even the courts also decided to prove this point, so that they can retaliate on whatever government has been doing to them, because there's been fight in judiciary and executive. There have been some sort of fight. So, ladies and gentlemen, I see the ruling was somehow on the favor of Gachagua that much, and maybe let's wait and see how things are going to unfold, because politics is now taking shape in the Republic of Kenya. And ladies and gentlemen, that's just my thought. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel